Well, hello there, and this is Auntie. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you all so much for joining the family. To all my nieces, nephews, and my members who have been here with me for the long haul, thank you all so much for your continued support. I am here to do my review of the Family Chantel, season 4, episode 3, On the Chin. And if I had to rate this episode of the Family Chantel, I would rate this episode an F. Let me know down in the comments section what you would rate this episode. Now, last week, I on purpose did not cover the Family Chantel because I thought that the whole thing was some fool-la-la and a whole bunch of fake A shenanigans. I think the same thing this week, and that is why this episode has gotten an F. It appears that TLC or Sharp Entertainment or whomever wants us to believe that there are problems that are going on in Chantel and Pedro's relationship. They also want us to believe this season that Pedro is not in contact with his sister Nicole and that there is dissension in the ranks. I don't believe any of the fool la la. Maybe you all do, but I don't. But you know what? Despite all of that, I'm going to do a very quick review on the Family Chantel. So we open up this episode with basically Chantel, Mother Karen, and Winter in Tijuana. Winter had her gastric bypass sleeve or surgery um, based on a TikToker who referred her to a clinic in Tijuana. She decided that she was going to have the surgery there because it was less than it would be if she had it here in the United States. So basically, she wouldn't get a little budget chop. Anyway, she came out of the surgery nice and healthy and alive. And so we are very happy about that. If you looked at the thumbnail, Winter has lost a significant amount of weight and she appears to be living her very, very best life. And so, anyway, we see them, thanking God for her recovery, X, Y, and Z, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. Now, as we all know, Winter this year or this season has a love interest who I believe lives in Africa. And she did not tell him about the surgery prior to her having it because she said that she did not want him to be aware of any of the insecurities, if you will, that she has or any, that type of stuff. I just was like, girl, bye. And so anyway, she gives him that information and tells him, that, she went to Tijuana to have the surgery and she had weight loss surgery. There wasn't much of a reaction from him, but Winter is now thinking about going to visit him. In the meantime, and in between time, Chantel calls Pedro on the phone to tell Pedro that Winter came through surgery, and she goes on to talk about, her and Pedro not having, good communication between the two of them. She's noticed that Pedro is different than he was before. They went to the DR to allegedly reenact going to find his father. Now, at the conclusion of last season, Pedro made no contact with his father after being there, but we did see him connect with his two brothers. It was later revealed that Pedro had, he indicated in that reenactment that they did last year that, he had no contact with his brothers. However, we found out through pictures that a sleuth, a 90-day fiance sleuth, went and found that he had indeed been in contact with his brothers. And I think the picture dated back to 2015 or either 2016. And so now they want us to believe that Pedro and Chantel are having communications. Pedro, when Chantel came back home, indicated that, she was basically saying, she's a dry desert and that she has not been, having any type of relations, if you will, with her husband. Pedro goes on to say that it's only been 3 months. A man and a woman like Pedro and Chantel are not having sex. Stop it. Nobody believes that Pedro and Chantel are not having sex. There's no way in the world that they did not consummate that new house, or Christian, if you will, that new house. There is nothing, in my opinion, going on between Chantel and Pedro. The things that the two of them have gone through, honey, would have taken a couple down within a year. They have survived everything from dissension on Chantel's side of the family and dissension on Pedro's side of the family. There's no way in the world that I am going to be believing. I am going to believe this plot line. You cannot pay me enough to believe this plot line. The only thing that I believe is that, one, Winter did have the gastric sleeve, and two, that her son and his wife, Royal, and his wife are pregnant. And now they're saying Chantel, they're trying to push this narrative for Chantel and Pedro to consider having a baby. So does that mean that Chantel is already pregnant, since we are now trying to put that in the storyline? Are we going to be finding out another 8 or 9 months from now that Chantel and Pedro had a baby? Like, come on. Like, we can almost write this stuff ourselves. But anyway, Auntie, keep it going. So we see Pedro. Pedro announced at the beginning of this new season that he had went and got his real estate license. And so we see him selling a home, or at least showing a home. And so one of a real estate mogul came in to look at another investment property for Pedro, because he said he's been doing real estate, but he hasn't really sold his first home yet. So now he has this lady walking around and looking at the home, XYZ, knick-knack, patty rack, and give a dog a damn bone. And she walks out without closing the deal. She tells us that Pedro needs more experience, because when she asked Pedro how big the house was, he was not able to tell her what the square foot of the home was without looking at the listing. And neither did he tell her how many acres or so that the house was sitting on. And so she used that to say that, he needed to do, a little bit more. Okay, a little bit more, as far as, being ready to start listing and selling homes and stuff like that. But if he doesn't get the opportunity to do it, then of course, you know, it is what it is in real estate. And so that was a good change. Pedro is complaining about Chantel and saying that Chantel is not pulling her weight in the relationship, that, he held it down in a warehouse working for 12 hours and everything, and that everything is about Chantel, that Chantel has been selfish with him, that, whatever, is done around the house, he's doing it, and she is not, helping out, or he has to tell her what to do. Chantel gets up in the morning and she, prepares 6 eggs for Pedro. Now, she has been with Pedro. Thank you so much, Jen, for the $10 super chat. My nephew and I love listening to you, Auntie. I don't follow this show really, but I follow you on 600-Pound Life, 1,000 Sisters in Love After Lockup. Tomorrow's my B-Day. Do your thing, love. Thank you so much, Jen, for the $10 super chat. And happy birthday to you, Jen. Enjoy your birthday. I should be giving you something, not you giving me something. Happy birthday. Hi, nephew. I'm going to be getting back to those shows as soon as they come back on. So, Pedro, she has, these eggs all scrambled up and everything, and she's about to make them for Pedro. And Pedro says that I don't want the eggs to be fried or scrambled. I want them to be boiled. So the two of them kind of, go back and forth about that. And so she puts the eggs in the pot for him and begins to boil them. She is seemingly upset because she doesn't feel like Pedro respects her and that, she's been getting the love, the care, and the attention. She says that she is trying to treat him according to his love language, and Pedro don't understand. He don't understand what the hell that means, right? And so of course, it starts an argument when Pedro starts to talk about she didn't put any salt in the water before she started boiling the eggs. And so she said that she did, but if you want to put more in there, Pedro, go for it. And so, of course, the two of them go into an argument, and this is when they start trying to talk about, the lack of affection, the lack of sex, and all of this kind of stuff. And of course, Chantel starts crying, those crocodile tears, as she walks off, and we hear her sniffing behind the door. Let me tell you something, honey. If you're going to cry, we need to see it. Okay, we need to seeing is believing for us. We don't believe any tears that are going on behind a door. Like we just don't. We don't, we don't believe it. Like at all. I want to talk about Nicole because Nicole is running, is in a pageant to become Miss Dominican Republic. It is the running joke among Pedro and everybody else in the Cotton freaking family. First of all, she reaches out to Pedro. She says that she's been calling him and he has not been answering the phone or any of her text messages because he is still angry with her about what happened over in the DR. And so his mother suggests that he talks to his sister and that the two of them need to reconcile with one another. They get on the phone and of course it's arguing. She is feeling like, Pedro is feeling like her old boyfriend is the reason for the breakup, and she's feeling like Chantel is the reason for the breakup, and neither one of them come to an agreement about it. And then, of course, it turns horrible when the two of them make a decision that they don't want to talk to each other at all because they're not able to come to an understanding. Both of them want to be right and they want to be wronged. And so anytime you have a relationship like that, it's just it's not even worth it, right? It's just, in my opinion, it wasn't even worth it for Pedro to even answer this girl's call. But she is going to be in a pageant um to get the crown of Miss DR, and she really absolutely believes that she has an opportunity to do this. One of the things that Chantel said when she was in a conversation with Pedro about it is that the sister's character, her personality, has her reputation for being just a biatch has preceded her. And so she is not the woman that anybody will want to be representing anything. Okay. But when she met with the pageant guy last week, he tore her down to the rooter to the tutor and told her that her face was not symmetrical. And they said that she didn't have a chin. So now last year we remember that she went and had breast implants. And I do believe that if you want to improve something on yourself, then go for it. So this time now she's going because they said that her face is not symmetrical because she doesn't have a chin. And so now she's at a Botox clinic where they are sitting there and putting fillers in her face in order to create a chin because they said that she has this skin but she's got like a hole, so her chin doesn't protrude out or whatever. And I'm thinking, you got to do all of that to be in a pageant. You got to get your breasts plumped up, you got to get a tummy tuck, you got to get all these things. What is what's real and what's not? I think that if you're in a pageant, you should just be who you are. and I know that a lot of people make a lot of different cosmetic changes to themselves to improve certain things, but it seems like she wouldn't have had any of this done had she not been wanting to be in a pageant. But anyway, she sits down in this chair, honey, and a woman puts the stuff in her face, and they showed the before and after picture, and she actually really did have a cotton freaking chin at the end of the day. When they showed the side view, and she is, um going for it. Her mother is supportive. She believes that, whatever she wants to improve on her body, she should absolutely improve. And we see her packing up her things and going to the pageant. She was saying that, it's hard to do this kind of stuff. You got to work out. It's just not about beauty alone. But how about even with the things that you're doing, you haven't changed your character, you haven't changed your personality, your attitude, you haven't changed any of that stuff. You have to be intelligent in order to represent anybody in a pageant, boo, especially when you're trying to be Miss DR. And as I said, y'all, she did not even come in the top 10. She didn't even rank in the top 10. And it won't but 15 girls. So she's wasted her time and her cotton freaking money and her efforts as well. Girl, bye. Sit down some damn where. This girl, please. I could not blame them for laughing at her and making fun of her. Like I could not. I could not blame her. So anyway, y'all, this is the end of my review on these mofos. I didn't even want this to go 15 minutes. If I had my glasses on, I would have been cut this cotton freaking thing out. This cotton freaking show is so damn phony. I'm just waiting for some real phony ass drama to happen, and no phony ass drama is happening right now. So, we just gonna go ahead on a skedaddle on out of here. Okay, y'all. Like for real, 16 minutes is too much. Thank you so much, Jen, for the super chat. Thank you to you and your nephew for watching the show. Happy birthday to you. Celebrate, honey, like you ain't got another one coming, even though we know you're going to have a long, long, long life and many, many more birthdays. I love y'all to pieces, and I will talk to y'all soon.